I look so old.
You look so dead.
Damn.
She could have told him, don't turn around. Oh, Jesus. Hey, let's just keep walking this way. Come on. You don't want to see that. But actually, that works out very sweet, man. I'll let you see the way it works out, but it doesn't work. It's not as dark as it seems right there. This whole segment about death was actually a lot more lighthearted and funnier and sweeter than some of the parts of the other show. Double Toasted live in Las Vegas. That's going to be October 8th, and tickets are finally available. x1entertainment.com/double-toasted. Doors open at 6 p.m. Meet and greet and cocktail hour to happen promptly afterwards. So the after party is going to be in the same venue. I think it's like 2 minutes away from the Strip. It's going to be a fun show. It's going to be a night of comedy, music, games, and as you see, the after party. We're going to have Tone Royal open for us. Come on and do our thing. Get your tickets now. Okay. Let's talk about that Sandman. This is the Sandman. A lot of fans out there who don't like when you be disrespectful like that.
Actually, excuse me.
It's called the Sandman. Thank you very much. Don't bring your diverse ethnicity to this bullshit.
Well, show already did that.
The show did that already.
Yeah, it did.
The Sandman. This is the novel, the graphic novel, based off of Neil Gaiman's creations. And this is a story about a godlike entity who rules over dreams. And in the story, his dream world is falling apart. Plus, somebody took his shit. And he's got to get it back.
Jacked him.
Jacked him straight up for his stuff, man. Along the way, he interacts with other personifications of emotions and life and biblical concepts while trying to keep said realm from falling apart. So that's simple enough, right? Well, if you mean by unadaptable, if you mean by impossible, yeah, pretty simple, because for years, ever since the 80s, they've been trying to figure out how to make this into a movie. And a lot of people said, you can't do it, man. And a lot of people have given up in between. Sure. Shit, some people just went out and fled. You were telling me a story today where somebody said, no, it's not impossible to make if you just make shit up for it. Yeah. Such as, if you know the book, all of it really is the concept of these anthropomorphic emotions and life concepts interacting with each other. But your dude who made the giant spider, John Peters wanted to have slumber parties and raves.
Yeah, a bunch of teenage girls would capture him. They would bring him to their slumber party.
He's so cute.
Yeah, he is. I mean, a lot of people are into him. They were going to have a rave. He need at least one rave scene in there. He needed to wear a cape and wear tights, and he needed to punch people constantly. Every scene
Didn't John Peters want to make the Superman movie where he didn't have a cape and couldn't fly?
And didn't fly, yes. Yes, he did. And a giant spider.
Yeah.
The most dangerous plant.
His whole thing is let me take a property and just do the complete opposite.
Yeah, he does that. Okay.
That's the thing about being Netflix. We ain't confined in just 2 hours like you studios out there that make these movies. Movies are so passe. Oh, you still make films? Oh, no. We don't just make shows. We make overarching storylines, epics that go for 10, 12, sometimes 13 episodes. And that's what people said that you needed to do for Sandman. And plus, some people just took it as a challenge.
Sure.
Unadaptable? Wait until I get a hold of it. And Neil Gaiman gave his praises to Netflix and said, all right, you know what, go at it. Now, I've never read any of these graphic novels at all. I couldn't even tell you what they were about. Most of the time, I just knew it was some goth guy walking around looking like a vampire.
Yeah, I can see that.
And that's it. I just know the character. That's it. Me not reading this at all, that could be an awesome thing. That could be a great thing for fresh eyeballs like this right here. Or it could make things way more confusing. Because at least the people have read it, got somewhat of a roadmap. I'm going in lost with this. But that's what we're here for, to talk about whether this works or not. For people, you've read this, right?
I've read the first several volumes. Right? Mm-hmm. I never finished it, but I read.
Well, you read all of these, right?
Not all, but I read the at least the first 3 or 4 story arcs.
Same.
Okay. And I've read nothing, so these guys at least got something to start with right there. I don't.
But it's been so long, I couldn't remember. any of it.
Well, Martin, let's see if any of this brought it back to you as we watch the trailer for Netflix's The Sandman, and we'll be back to tell you how the experienced and the inexperienced react to this.
Mr. Sandman.
Looking at this, as some people saying, for a movie about someone called, or a show about someone called The Sandman, y'all sure are woke with all of this. And it's like, man,
Oh my God.
yeah. Yeah, they say y'all got just a little bit too much color in here right now from what I remember. When I say too much color, I'm talking about the white dude.
Oh yeah.
Like he's supposed to look like a dead fish or something, but even this boy got just a little bit too much color than the original. Even I can say that because the Sandman is chalky white. He's dead white.
Right. Yeah. I always thought that was weird how in some scenes he looks like that, where it's so white he's almost kind of blue, and in others he was like, well, this guy, he almost has a tan.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Exactly. But they have changed a lot of things here. They've done a lot of swapping of all kinds. A lot of ethnic, gender, sexual swapping. You know, some people say you just, there you go, trying to pander to the leftists out there. Or some people are saying, well, hey, they're just adjusting for the time. They're reflecting of what the world is now. Does that work? Well, like I said, I can't tell you. I don't know what characters were what. I can kind of feel where they changed some things, definitely, but I always said it doesn't matter if the story's good. So that's what we're here to see, man. Does this work at all? Especially, there's nothing to even worry about the ethnicities and genders of people out there. This is such a crazy-ass story. Does the story work, period, at all? Well, I would tell you something. Like I said, my ignorant ass could have easily been in the middle of this show talking about, what the f am I? Help! Hey! I could have been lost completely. But I think, and I don't know if they did this in the books, but for me, looking at this, one of the smartest things that they did now the setup for this is a little weird because there's not a lot of explanation for things in here. You just have to go with it. Like what they do here, I'm looking for a certain picture here. There's the story set up here is that, and like I said, they give you no explanation for it at all. The story that they set up here, a rich guy just wants his dead son back, so he whips up some magic and decides to kidnap Death, just like that. Because if you got enough money, you can do anything, including magic. That's it. Don't ask for why. Don't ask for, is he a wizard or some shit? No. No. He's the asshole from Game of Thrones. That's all you need to know.
That's why they hired him.
That's why they hired him. We'll talk about this dude in a little bit.
Yeah.
But when that first episode is done, once they do all that setup, again, which there's not a whole lot of explanation for, and then get that out the way, it settles into something like a magical scavenger hunt. It's almost like a video game. Sandman got to go find these 3 items out there so that he can get his house straight. Bring order back to the magic realm. And if you take it as, hey, I'm just riding with this dude who has to go pick up these 3 things, and along the way, we just run into some crazy ass people. We go to some crazy ass places. It could work for you. The quest does give a novice like myself something easy to follow. And that's just the setup right there.
Yeah.
The thing is, you guys didn't get very far, but the books better than I do. But I do, this thing goes so many different places that to give it like a full review, really, you do have to watch all of these.
I'm sure.
Because it's not like, hey, I'll watch these first 3 and that's going to be the rest of the story. This morphs into so many different things here.
I know.
Of what I've seen so far, which is 5 episodes, they're actually following the first volume very closely.
Very, like watching the first, because I hadn't read it in forever, and I went back and reread the first issue, and then watching the first episode, I was like, I couldn't imagine a more faithful adaptation than this.
Yeah.
It feels like it was just a way to get people adjusted to the world.
Sure.
Because they know how wild it is. It was a way to just give you something to digest very easy to follow. Because after that, you soon realize, hey, this is a whole lot more. I was surprised. I thought, I thought we'd be hunting for these things for the next 7-9 episodes.
Sure.
Nah, man, he got his shit. pretty much early on, and then we move on to other things. And what the show, as the show continues, what happens with this is that it becomes a collection of short stories.
Yeah.
And more episodes. Some even feel like short films in a way. Some even feel like out of nowhere is this part of the same series? And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing at all.
Different genres.
Yeah. Man, I like this.
Yeah, so much of the books could be more like storytelling, like you say, an anthology. We're telling tales of Dream and his siblings, the desire and death and destruction and all of them.
Yeah. They man, let me tell you something. For somebody who doesn't know, I'm glad that I waited all this time to watch this, because I don't come in with any kind of biases or anything, and I really enjoyed, to a certain point, being just watching this, man. Just being immersed into all of this. I think that they impressively go between all these different tones here, because they shift between mostly horror and fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's the way the book has been described, I guess. It's a horror fantasy in a way.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, that is appropriate for a show about dreams and nightmares, man.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because some of these episodes, they feel like dreams and some of them feel like nightmares. Some of them are adventurous, such as there's a part where Dream goes to hell.
Okay, that's the one I started last.
Okay. Dream goes to hell and gets in it with Satan. Of course, Satan's a woman. Because bitches be evil. I don't know.
Lucifer Morningstar.
Yes, yeah, Lucifer Morningstar. He goes there and gets into a battle with Satan. But it's not a battle with weapons and whatnot. It's a battle of wits that they go through.
I am a serpent, horse biting.
All they doing is playing rock, paper, scissors. Really. I say battle, but
The most intense match ever.
it's the most dramatic version of rock, paper, scissors I've ever seen, man.
I am the hunter's wife who is making him come back home.
And some of them, I was really impressed the way, like, some of them are actually kind of beautiful, man. They're thoughtful. They have one that's just a beautiful contemplation on life by talking about a certain subject. Like the kindest, and I think the most emotional part of the show is all about death, really.
No. Don't stop, please.
What you doing in my house? Hey! Some strange black woman in here.
Sorry for the noise.
It's not noise, it's Schubert. Do you know who I am?
No.
Oh, shit. Oh, man.
Not now. Can I finish my song at least?
Plenty of time.
I can play real good if you give me a chance. Devil went down to Georgia and all that.
Are you sure you're not that colored hooker I hooked up with and all? Please tell me I got gonorrhea. Please don't tell me who you think you are. Please.
It's time.
I look so old.
You look so dead.
Damn.
She could have told her, don't turn around.
Oh, Jesus.
Hey, let's just keep walking this way. Come on. You don't want to see that. But actually, that works out very sweet, man. I'll let you see the way it works out, but it doesn't work. It's not as dark as it seems right there. This whole segment about death was actually a lot more lighthearted and funnier and sweeter than some of the parts of the other show. And that's Kirby Howell Baptiste right there. She plays Death, of course.
Wow.
And she's one of the characters that they actually race swapped in here.
Right.
And actually, she's very good. And again, without me knowing what the character was really like, I can't really make a comparison. I would love to hear what people think about that character being again race swapped.
I'm curious also, because with some other gender and race swaps, I was like, it doesn't matter. But death was a big thing. Like, I talk about Sandman being a goth icon. not more than death was.
She's the one with the top hat and
Well, sometimes, but her pale skin
Yes.
and the all black and the onks and all that she was a goth fashion icon that a lot of girls dressed up as. As a matter of fact, the girl who was the model for that character, some friends brought her over to my house one time, and we were all drinking together. And so this I was not prepared for, but just that would be the one I'd be like, I don't know about swapping that, but that scene was brilliant.
Yeah.
This girl's great.
this episode right here, I forgot which episode it was. I think
This is
it's
six. This is the one I started before.
This is episode 6. Episode 6 is very good, and it is a big contrast to I think the episode that might have come after, or maybe the one right after.
before?
Oh, was it before?
The one with David Thewlis.
Man, I'm glad the one with death came after, because the one before that was a segment called 24/7, and that's very much a horror episode. It's the whole thing feels like a Stephen King story.
Very much is. Matter of fact, the character's reading Stephen King, one of those things.
Yeah, where everybody's in this diner,
Yep.
and it's almost like this diner is like they have no track of time. They're stuck in there.
I remember that story.
And they're slowly going mad, being manipulated to go mad, and it's very gruesome, and it's very intense, and it's directed very well, and that is truly the horror episode. But then they got some that are comedic, man. They have an episode where it's a guy who doesn't want to. He says, "I'm not going to die," and I won't tell you how, but he doesn't die, and the way that character's situation is handled is actually. I got a lot of laughs out of that, man. A lot of unexpected turns with when you in this particular way that they play with someone who's pretty much immortal. There was so many ways that I expected it to go, and it defied my expectations the whole time.
That's cool.
Yeah, I really respected the way they were able to handle this, man. And again, I respected they didn't have to tell you shit. You either go along with the ride or you don't. And the reason why it works is because they don't have to tell you anything. Good storytelling doesn't have to tell you anything if they ease you into a situation.
Yeah.
If they have characters that you can like before you even know who they are, or characters that get your interest before you even know anything about them. That's the way good storytelling should work. And the storytelling here works that way, man. Even with the biblical concepts that they have here. They'll bring in storylines. They have characters from the Bible that pop up, and these characters feel like characters from a Disney fairy tale or something. You know how Disney has all their fairy tale characters together, like Cain and Abel show up.
Right.
And they don't explain why Cain and Abel are really there. It's just like, hey, the Bible is real in some parts, and Cain and Abel are there, man. And the way they actually got me well. I'm not gonna say what happens with them, but they got me well with something.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Oh, sure.
And for a moment, I was like, well, that don't make no goddamn sense. And I was like, oh, stupid ass. Okay, that is why they did that.
Well, just so anybody screaming at the TV, those characters belong to some DC comic books from way before Sandman.
Okay.
That House of Secrets and House of Mysteries. They were horror anthologies where each one of those brothers was the host of it, but they would also go at each other.
That's what's interesting about this adaptation, because the Sandman comics, they take place in the DC universe. Like in those original books,
Yeah.
I mean, Batman, Superman are
Yeah.
in them. They're weaved throughout the story. And even like the character of John Dee, David Thewlis, he's Dr. Destiny. He's a Justice League villain. And so this is very much not set in the DC universe, I would say, for people who are like interested in that or want it to be. It's not.
Because
Clearly
at a point where I thought, oh, this is where they bring up the Golden Age Sandman,
Right, yeah.
and they don't.
Like I said, with this happening with a lot of with no explanation for a lot of things, they just need to have some sort of setup for them that really gets them prepared for what's happening next. But for me, if you look at somebody like me who's watching this, as I've already explained, it adds to the dreamlike quality of the show, which has a theme about dreams. And for the most part, I really enjoyed that.
I think the writing is trying to give the audience credit. It's like,
Yeah.
you can figure this out. We're not going to talk down to you or lay out every single thing like you're a child.
Yeah, and and again, that's also a preference. I mean, I like stories where I don't have to have everything narrated. I like stories where I have to have everything explained to me. I understand that for some people they do. And if you have a more mainstream project, that's fine. But this thing is it has such a big fan base, and I'm sure that they just felt like, these fools don't need nobody to explain that to them. They read these books already. And if if he's stupid like this Corey right here, then, then hey, if he ain't read the books, that's his fault.
I feel like they do just enough where you're not feeling completely lost.
Yeah.
Like there's always an air of mystery to everything, but it's like they explain enough. And plus, you might have a character with him he'll explain what's going on.
Right.
Whether
Exactly.
it be Constantine or Matthew the Raven or
Yeah.
something.
No.
So that works.
No.
Yeah, and like I said, I went back and reread the first issue and some of the second, but then I was like, you know what, let me stop because I want to have this unfold again for me as I watch it.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Like I said, man, I love the dreamlike quality of this show. Also goes into nightmares a lot, like the nightmare of doing postage at the post office, man. You just
Didn't see it.
You can smell that one.
I didn't know. That got me.
Nobody smelled that shit.
I
Mine
did.
wasn't being here, but he didn't see that coming.
No, I did. It was the way you changed tones. I was like, it's coming.
Sure. But anyway, hey, wake up and stop going through all those troublesome drives to the post office. Getting all that, buying all that postage, when you don't have to go that far to get it. It can all be brought to your home, be delivered to your home. If you use something like stamps.com. Now, that's the dream right there. I'm not talking bad about the post office. I'm just saying, listen, why have to drive there and deal with lines and, wasting gas and all that stuff when you got a post office right at home that you can use? And that's with stamps.com. Saves you time, money, and most of all, your sanity. Saves you stress. And you know how crazy it is. Just to mail simple stuff. Yeah, it shouldn't be that hard. It really should not. But it is. It's stressful just like anything else, and you don't have to deal with it. This is your 24/7 post office right here. They've been in business for more than 20 years. That's right. The internet has been around that long, man.
Sure.
I have used this. I use this. Still have a stamps.com account. Used this years ago when I was setting up Double Toasted right here. But they've been a very reliable source, indispensable for millions of businesses out there. And with this, you can get discounts that you can't find anywhere else, like up to 30% off USPS rates and 86% off UPS rates. And stamps.com, listen, this is a big thing about it, and this is the reason why I like to talk to you guys about this, because there's a lot of people who, you run your own business as a creative, just like we do. But unlike us over here, where we stream our stuff and we don't have to send anything out, some of you do. You create things like, man, our friend James, he does these sculptures here. We have people who make plushies. We have people who, they do art on commission, and they have to do that fulfillment themselves. They got to mail it out. And this would be a huge asset for those people right here, especially when this works seamlessly with Shopify, Amazon, Etsy, eBay, and more. Anything that you use to sell your stuff. I already told you how much you can save with this, so I'm going to even save you a little bit more and give you some stuff. If you go to stamps.com and use the promo code TOASTED, you'll get a special 4-week trial period, free 4-week trial period. You'll get free postage and you'll get a digital scale. I want to thank stamps.com for sponsoring this portion of the show. And I want to thank all of you out there, as usual, for your support. I've been talking about how great a lot of the storytelling is here. And these guys have been talking about how faithful it is since they've read some of the books. I will say this, that sometimes I think the combination between fantasy and horror doesn't always mix well. Sometimes they kind of clash with each other a little bit. Maybe it's just me having to get used to it. Looks like we can go from an episode where you have a lot of violence and, a dark tone, sex, gore. And then the next episode will have like something out of a damn Disney movie, a kid's family film. Sure. They'll have, some dude with a pumpkin head talking with a Brooklyn accent.
The plans for the new Celestarium have been approved.
I'm not here to talk construction. I'm here to talk about the vortex.
Lord Morpheus is already monitoring her dreams.
He better be.
Now, I'm not saying that this is a bad thing because, I'm willing to say that our minds are so, used to compartmentalizing things. You know, hey, this imagery and this kind of thing doesn't mix with this kind of stuff over here. But, you know, maybe that's the beauty of having something like a streaming service like Netflix. They don't have to go by those kind of rules. They don't have to be as careful as studios out there that are releasing movies, and you have to pretty much appeal to this demographic carefully, or appeal to that demographic carefully. You know, I will say it's kind of cool to see them being able to go in and do something like this, where lighthearted things can just suddenly turn twisted. You know, that's I just have to. I guess I have to kind of keep open mind for that, and I have been. I don't, you know, right now I'm watching it right now, and I'm like, yeah, that still feels weird, right there. So again, some people say don't spoil anything. Listen, I'm not spoiling anything. You know, if you don't want to hear anything at all, then just, you know, tune out. But in order to do a review, you got to tell some things. And I promise you I'm not spoiling anything when I bring these details up. But I will tell you, the story takes a turn near the end of the show. And you guys can tell me if this is in the book. But not there. So you want to hear anything, go ahead, leave right now. Gone? Okay. So the thing that I didn't really like here was the serial killer convention. Was that in the book?
Yes, it's actually one of the most popular stories in the book.
Yeah,
okay, that is one of the things that I don't feel like it adapted well, translated well. So, you know, here's the thing. So there's a serial killer convention that happens here, and to me it seemed like a very silly concept, and I'll explain why. You know, it seems weird to me that a bunch of serial killers, who have killed multiple people, by the way, can all gather in one spot and not one of them gets caught. It makes no sense to me. And listen, it's not like I'm not saying that can't happen if you can tell it the right way, but you know, they're doing things that would get anybody caught if they would gather in an area like this. You know, they're doing things that somebody should be calling 911 at this point. And again, this is just me not being able to understand this concept here. You know, they walk around doing terrible death puns in this right here. You know, and I wrote some of them down right here. Are you ready, y'all? Martin's gonna appreciate this. You like the puns. He likes the puns. You'll appreciate it.
I like them.
There's a part where a kid he's passing all of these serial killers, and you can overhear them talking about one after another. Boy, I can murder a steak. They have chocolate to die for. The TV version of this, they butchered it. I thought the whole issue was dead and buried.
That's how you do it.
That's a good one. The last one.
And that's when they killed the lights. And I was like, oh, give me. And it keeps going and keeps going. And these motherfuckers talking about this out loud in a convention center. And then they sit in these rooms, door wide open, where they're talking loud as about the way they kill people, why they kill people. Now, they did have different topics that were funny. Like, you pass by some of the doors, and they're like, different booths. You know, like, one is religion. One is women in the industry. You know, hey,
so few.
Make it pay off. You know, and the way they went in and talked and hearing the people talk about those subjects in the different rooms and seminars, that was kind of funny in itself. I appreciate that. But you know, the whole thing is that it's played up. These people are real. These people, they're not magical. Because I thought, you know, maybe it's like some Hogwarts for murderers shit like that was going on, and it's not. They're just regular human beings, and who for some reason know about the mystical world, and you know, none of that was really explained. Now, in another story, in a universe that's set up more logistical explanations, I don't know, maybe some John Wick type, you know, system where these people can get away with this. That would be one thing, but here, I just didn't get it, man. And I thought, as clever as the rest of this movie, or this show rather, is written, as great as some of these characters are in the dialogue even, you know, this is where it just felt weak. Also, keep in mind that I said they did so much great writing in the first half. Of
course.
Yeah.
And then we doing these goddamn comedy hour right here for serial killers, you know, these goddamn puns. I'm like, this pun off, I'm like, nah, man, this is badly written. That's what I thought. You know, man, you might appreciate it because you love them puns. I was just kind of like, this is I mean, I
haven't seen it, so I can't comment.
I don't even know. I don't even know. Like, I could get if there was supposed to be some. That was part of the humor with the puns, but I was like, I don't even see what the humor is with this. It just seems easy. So I don't know. That was just. It just didn't really. It just didn't gel with the rest of everything that was doing so well, that segment right there. But that was for me. Cast is mostly good here. Tom Sturridge, who plays Sandman. What's his name?
Morpheus. Man of many names.
Yeah.
King of dreams.
I thought he was good, man. Now, he's walking through this like mostly like somebody just woke up and ain't had that coffee yet.
He's got bedhead.
Yeah, he's right down to bedhead, man.
Yeah.
You know, he's walking through this, and I just kind of want sometimes just like, hey, you
I
listen.
kind of felt like that too. I'm not really sold on him, and I think maybe if he had the all black eyes, like Sandman does, where he would always seem like an ethereal creature, I could go with it. But as it is, I was like, being more human-like, I'd like to see some personality.
I mean, he's in a rock and a hard place because Dream in the comics he's so stoic.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have a lot of emotion. He becomes more emotional as the comic goes on. And so maybe I can understand why they didn't want to give him the black guys because like people are going to get creeped out by that.
Yeah.
So they want to make him a little more human.
They want to make him relatable.
And plus, he's got those beautiful baby blues. I mean, come on, don't cover those up.
Somebody in love over here.
No, listen. No, he does a good job. Like, for my fan casting for years, I was like, Alan Rickman, but it ain't happening.
Right.
So, no, I mean, again, he's playing a character that is very, very serious, and you can only do so much. But those moments when he is emotional, I think he nails it. I think he did do a good job, at least so far.
He has to be in a role where he has little emotion.
Yeah.
He's all about the job. He's this dude. He's focused, man. Yeah. Except when he's being a dick. That's when he comes to life. When he has to tell somebody off, or he has to treat people like shit. Oh, he's awake then. Oh, he's had his morning coffee.
He's got
then.
a little pep in his step.
Yeah, he ain't asleep no more. Ain't no dream right there. No, if he's got to be an asshole, he will. He's all awake then. Yeah. But I'm not even saying that that's a bad thing.
Makes him scary.
Well, I don't even think it makes him scary. I can see some parts where it does that, but what happens is it makes him an asshole. What it is, they tried to make him more human for the people out there. I would imagine. So him being a dick just makes him seem like he's flawed, and that's a good thing. He makes bad decisions. He can be really. He can be so about the job that he's cold about some things.
Sure.
Because some people are like, damn, Sandman, that was kind of rough. Oh, you think so? And yeah, that was shitty, man. His dedication to his job is not always dedication. He says that, but it's really about ego.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's all about him and him being in power.
Yeah.
But then there's some moments where he'll crack a smile or he'll make a little bit of a joke, and then you'll be like, "Oh, see, he's all right. He's getting there. He's getting there. He's getting there." And I tell you what, I appreciated Tom Sturridge. I appreciate his acting even more because, like I say, and you said, he's in a serious role in this movie. But the real guy, he's kind of goofy a little bit.
I growled at him once and said, "Stop being Batman."
And I'm not even making fun of him, man. I'm not even making fun. I think you see him in real life, he's a fun guy, but he's but when he's doing this role, it's like, I never would have known those were the same people.
No.
I already talked about your boy here, Charles Dance. This man should just have a card that says professional asshole. Because that's all he is.
He's good at it.
Yeah, he's good at it. That's all he's going to be, is the same dude from Game of Thrones, and he does it well. He's the same. If you see Game of Thrones, you're going to see that dude in here. He plays the rich guy at the beginning that summons Dream and imprisons him.
The Magus.
Yeah.
As he's called.
Yeah, man. And it's funny too because he's the Lannister dude from Game of Thrones.
It's Tywin Lannister.
Yeah, the show kicks off with him doing what? Shitty things.
Treating his son like shit. Other people like shit.
Yeah, he's treating his son like shit.
His wife like shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he tries to kidnap Death for what? For his own selfish reasons. And he tries to be cool at first. Well, I want to bring my son back, but ladies talk about immortality, riches, and I was like, yeah, of course. All right, there we go. Yeah. Now that's the dude I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is how the character is in the book, though. Very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect casting.
I like this actor, so again, I might be a little biased. Boyd Holbrook.
I love Boyd Holbrook.
He plays Corinthian, he's one of the more freakier characters in this, and if you know the character in the book, then you know what I'm talking about. This man has a thing for eyeballs and influence over killers, which is something that did play into the serial killer part of the show. And also he's got teeth for eyeballs, man, which is freaky. But he's I tell you, the Boyd Holbrook, I couldn't tell if it was him at first from his physical appearance, but by this man's charisma,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's Boyd Holbrook, man.
'Cause I live and breathe.
Yeah.
That's what I always think of when I see
You,
Right. The Wolverine.
Wolverine.
Yep.
That accent is.
See, yeah, you want that Sandman, I want Boyd, man.
You could have him.
I'll tell you my favorite actor in this, man, was David. What is
Thewlis.
it?
David Thewlis.
David Thewlis.
Is it Thewlis?
I think it's Thewlis.
Is it Thewlis or Thewlis? I don't know. I think you
Professor
might be right,
Lupin.
Mark. I think you might be right. I think it's Thewlis.
Okay.
David Thewlis.
Yeah, but he was my favorite actor here, man.
He was great.
I love it because his character is ill, man, and that makes him way, way unpredictable. Like, because in his mind, he's not doing any harm to anybody. Everything he's doing is a means to an end. So that means you don't know who he's going to hurt at any moment or who he's going to be kind to. The roll of the dice, man. It really depends on how these people react to him. And believe me, he what he does to people is
Yes.
yeah. He's very dangerous and just kind of sad, too. That's the thing that I found fascinating about his character is that for all the horrible things that he's doing, you always get the feeling like it's just, oh, it ain't his fault. I don't want to feel that way because this guy, he really is a dangerous, horrible person.
And if that is your truth, then perhaps your suffering will set you free.
Now, I'm going to tell you something about this this actor in this scene right here and why he's so great. This man can seem threatening eating a tub of strawberry ice cream right here.
He's coveting that thing. He's
yeah,
like
he
this.
is.
My ice cream.
Looking like Gollum on that ice cream, man. Yes. Eating a whole tub of ice cream, and I was just kind of like, shit, this dude is scary right now, man. And still, if you know the whole story with him, there's a sadness to it. That's why I think he was my favorite character in the whole show. Now, having said all of this and told you, and there's a lot more characters in this, man. It's sprawling. You know, have the cast that you have here and the stories that they have. And it'd be hard to, again, cover everything in one review. And we want to do it because we want to save a lot for you out there, of course. But having said all that, and even said that, and I saw all 10 episodes and told you the things that I loved and the things that I really did not like here. Having said all that, when it worked out, as somebody who did not read the book, I said, I don't know what this adaptation is like, man. But for the most part, it's working for me. I can follow this. Where they don't need to explain things to me, I'm still aboard and still invested in this world. And I just got the feeling when I was watching this, I said, man, this material is so dense and complicated, it has to stick to the source material in the way they're doing it. I just got a feeling, not having read any of this, that they are sticking pretty tight to this source material and doing a damn good job with it. I just felt that watching this. But even if I got it wrong, I still enjoyed mostly what I saw. Like, I really loved a lot of this, man. I loved a lot of this so much that it hurt for me to criticize the parts that I did criticize because it was flowing. It was all connecting. I was like, damn, this is working well. More well than it should. This is why people didn't want to adapt it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was like, damn, this is working well. And then it hit that bump. But that wasn't enough for me, of course. You have that one section. It is near the end. It does kind of disrupt the... I'd rather them get something for something I don't like personally. I'd rather them get that out the way at the beginning instead of near the end. But and it does have a way more story near the end. It has to deal with Dream's world falling apart, more characters that are coming in that are responsible for that, sacrifice and probably for the sake of the Dream world in some way lose a little bit of what soul he has, or is he going to go through Is he going to do the human thing? There's a lot of themes that are presented later on. I thought those were done well. It ended with a lot of heart. And it ended in a spot where it was a perfect setup for them to continue. And I hope they do because I felt it would have been, they didn't end at a point where I thought, man, if you ended that and you don't go and renew this, then we ended a good spot right. Continue more in this dream world. But overall, not perfect. It was going along that way for a little bit, but at this moment, I'm gonna give it a high matinee. I really did like it. It had some flaws, but also gotta respect again, taking this material, it's gonna have flaws in it.
Sure.
Because it's just, you know, something like this shouldn't work the way it's working in the first damn place.
Right. Yeah, it was among those kind of graphic novels like The Watchmen, where it's like, this is actually an intellectual book, and that doesn't usually translate, and maybe you shouldn't try to do an adaptation. And, you know, you saw how long it took to do something decent with The Watchmen.
Yeah.
And so that the fact that this is working so well, it's a joy. Like I said, I'm not that deep enough into it to give any kind of rating, but I like what I've seen so far.
You know, one of the things for years that I thought they were always going to struggle to adapt is the fact that this takes place in the DC universe, and you have all these DC heroes in there, and you know, like, because John Dee's supposed to be in Arkham Asylum, and I was like, how you going to do that? And they said, just not going to do it.
Yeah.
And you know what? Really, at least in the 5 episodes that I've seen, it's probably for the best. That was probably the better decision. It's like trim the fat and focus on the stuff that is paramount to the story that's most important, which is deal with Dream and his realm and all the interactions in the waking world, as he calls it. Of the 5 episodes I've seen, I think this is definitely a very good adaptation, better than I thought they could have done years ago. You know, I will.
I'm curious to see what you guys would think about it once you watch all of it.